Hey, what's up everyone? There's a video that was just shared with me by another YouTuber, and I thank her very, very much for sharing it with me. The 2012 Stargate Planetary Galactic Axis Activation. Now we are actually entering the actual 2012 as mentioned by many ancient cultures in the 2020 period. And if you remember the magazine that appeared in our yard just 4 days after just 4 days after the shooting of George Floyd, and then all of this uprising started, well, right now is a pivotal point in existence. Now, first of all, everyone, and that goes for all sides, needed to have treated each other with kindness to begin with. Not instigating, not starting violence, not starting riots, not spreading hate, but spreading love and forgiveness. That's the best thing to do. And I feel like that this magazine, the pages that appeared 4 days after that event for me, I think, let's see, no, I don't know if yes, I think it was 4 days after, because it was at the very end of May that this magazine, the pieces of this magazine appeared, and it had all of these ancient gods and goddesses, or no, not goddesses, but all of these ancient gods on it. Had these and look at that, the Egyptian Mao of mine. She appeared as the background of the video, and she was only in the video for like 1 second. She was in the video for 1 second, and look at the background. Right there. My Egyptian Maui. But there will always be a crisis is the first article. And then you have 1961. Turn it over. It's 1961. There's the parallels. That's one thing. And then you have the Egyptian archaeology. You have the Mayan god. The Zeus. I think it's Zeus there. I don't know. But the Greek or Roman, and then you have on the top left there and more gods, more type of little g, not the main god, but like Christ, but the different deities. And Egyptian, you have Egyptian, Native American, Indian, or Mayan. You have Greek or Roman, and you have Chinese. Everything there, all kinds of ancient things. And I felt like it was kind of telling me what's coming up here. Right now you have this crisis, and then you have this, in this magazine, in this very magazine, you had ME stuff, and you even had stuff about there will always be a crisis. That's one of the articles. And the reason why I ordered this magazine is because pieces of it appeared around the time when this whole George Floyd event took place. Riots and uprising and protests started worldwide. Right after this virus crisis, quote unquote, then it says there will always be a crisis. It's like a message. What happens today when we're looking through old magazines and different things, moving things in the house? We found a magazine and a phone book from 2012. 2012. And they are saying that right now we're heading into the actual 2012 event. We were just 8 years off, based on the old, original calendars. But you look at what was in this, and it's like God is speaking to me. The powers are speaking to me. And it's telling me, don't forget the awakening. Don't forget. See, the Jim Crow segregation, then it talks about how people in certain parts of Africa got along, but communism and socialism was trying to separate them, trying to create a divide amongst the people. It said many people actually live together in harmony. Now, when people, here's the thing, we all have different cultures, and you can't just force people to just accept and just move. You can accept, but you can't force someone to follow someone else's belief or culture. You can live amongst each other peacefully, but you obviously can't force someone to be like someone else, because there are people There are Caucasian individuals that are not they're nothing like the certain people of African descent. There are African descent people who are nothing like people of Caucasian descent. Everyone is different. You can get along but not hate each other. And you can also, sadly, there are also people in this existence, in this life, that have hate in their heart no matter what, though. And you're not going to get them to change their way. But the thing is, there are also those that take advantage of their position of authority and use brutal force. And that has happened too much as well. But it's beyond just a black and white issue. This is beyond that. And also the created crises that you see being created all the time at the top, from the virus, from the spread of this hate, from the spread of division, all kinds of these things taking place are all a way to distract us from what's really happening. The awakening, the unity, and love. They distract us. Let me show you what's happening right now. Thanks to this YouTuber here, Aluna Ash 9D, her YouTube channel, I discovered what's happening with the 2012 Stargate. Alright. The title of her video is Entering the 2012 Stargate Wormhole in 2020. And you can see the information here. I'll get a little bit of the information right here. You can read. Go ahead and pause it and read all of this. Right now what's happening is things are accelerating. Humanity is taking quantum leaps. A quantum leap. All the people you think are against one another, they're working for the same cause. But evil is fighting evil. With evil, the dark forces. A dark force. That's the illusion that's taking place, that's blocking us from this oneness. I'm going to read the other stuff here. You can read that. And then, the book appeared from 2012. And appeared was We Are Living in the Last Days. That was a magazine that appeared. Alright. I've been talking about this for many years on my channel, she said. Now here we are. Entering a time, new timing frequencies, the eclipse path this weekend. There's an eclipse on Father's Day. And it happens to be activation crossing the churches in Ethiopia. One is the Church of St. George. Ooh, the eclipse happens over the church. George Floyd and all of that. Wow, that's crazy. The synchronicities, I'm telling you, the things that are speaking through. But check out Aluna Ash Soul Family page on Facebook, which I don't have Facebook. She talks about it on there. The cross, the cube, also aligning with the current Ethiopian calendar. So apparently this eclipse path takes place in the crossing churches of in Ethiopia. One of them is the Church of St. George. It also aligns with the current Ethiopian calendar, and they said that the systems have different purposes, but synchronized together as one. June 18th is solstice, according to the one ancient text. The June 20th and 21st, 2020 planetary galactic axis activation / solstice, solar eclipse, galactic equator lineup is very rare. It lines up with Stonehenge, the Giza Pyramid, and overlapping cycles, and is the entering of the 2012 Stargate that we began synchronizing with and bringing in years ago. In 2012, we began creating a greater body together as one. What we do now and how we react creates what we experience in the coming years. She said there are many cycles that overlap, and significant points bringing thought into form. 2018 to 26, 2020 to 22, 20 to 24, and 20 to 27. She said she's going to talk about these in a Judgment / Awakening, a Message to Humanity video that she'll be posting soon. As awakened souls, we do not need to revolt, but uplift in consciousness. does not mean that we won't experience times of anger, frustration, sadness, envy. It just means that we now have more tools to learn how to work together through those states so that we do not take control. They do not take control. The dark states. What seems so physical or fixed is not. It is practices, it's particles and sound waves. We do not create on the material plane. Fighting our own shadows does nothing, although until a certain point it is part of the process of the soul, evolution of the soul. And she said, with the bringing in years ago, in 2012, we began a new 144,000-day cycle, which is almost 400 years, a 7,200-day cycle, a planetary synchronization to the 13th gate, or the 13th heaven, and started bringing in the consciousness of the new almost 13,000-year cycle. Now, I still believe Jesus Christ is on the way. I do believe the coming of Jesus Christ. That I definitely believe. Now, the 13,000-year cycle, 2012 to 2020, was an 8-year cycle relating to Venus. The integration of a new timing frequency has begun years ago and is now becoming a humanity event at a larger scale, she says. In the mental, the spiritual, and physical, we are moving into a new time segment of fractal of time, releasing a distorted timing frequency we have created due to our way of thinking and moving beyond time in a way that we once knew it. Many different calendar systems are now merging together at this time, she said. That's interesting as well, that a lot of the old ancient calendars and calendar systems are merging together. The humanity and the planet will synchronize. This is a time of judgment for humanity. A doorway opportunity, moving in a direction or another individually or collective, to become a deliberate creator of good, to open our connection with the source, with God. To do this, we must intentionally choose to do the inner work to overcome our divide and opposition within. Support and uplift one another. Lift each other up. She says to have compassion, hold our power by using our consciousness and heart versus revolting. Instead of revolting and uprising in anger and resentment, that does nothing. Things are tense in this world because we are awakening from thousands of years of sleep and ignorance. These are powerful times. What's going on in this world is not just about race and all of that, although that's what they make it appear on the physical plane. It's the evolution of the soul within humanity expressing symbolically through form and experience. 2012 is a midpoint, apparently, of a 7-year cycle for the United States. In 2020 is the actual 2012. And 2020 is a midpoint of a 7-year cycle, as I've talked about before, for the United States, and that began in 2017. This 7-year cycle is a beautiful USA body activation to balance our spirit and matter, cross, cube, sphere. Each nation is like its own body, creating a oneness together. All are working toward the same cause, whether they realize it or not. We cannot force our personal will upon others because we do not like their actions. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, without manifesting the consciousness. All are free. All is already done. On this plane, we're experiencing a shadow of the past with awareness, she said, of this new creation that's taking place. We must be a part of the creation of good. The consciousness manifests in imaginal, unconscious or consciously. We embody a state of consciousness, then move into the experience sequence. Symbols and geometry and numbers, they're not all evil. Now, it's the influence of the spirit. You are in the spirit, the infinite spirit, attuned to the 13th heaven celestial hierarchy within. She said that, and this is all coming from her, this part is, and it's created and becomes all for the good, for the higher planes. The elect, but in the time segment, only few have stepped into this gift by the infinite spirit. Oh, she said there are a couple of typos in the video text, and she said that she went on to say thank you for supporting the insights, and yeah, go ahead and support her, and also, if you like, you can support me and my channel and my work, if you'd like to. Thank you for this, this, Miss Aluna Ash 9D, this individual here. I thank her for her work. Very awesome, and it's amazing. She made it to 100,000 subscribers. In these times, that's difficult to gain subscribers. I don't know how long she's been doing her channel, but much love. Peace. Signing out. I feel like that magazine appearing when all of the And then the eclipse starting over St. George, and then the whole George Floyd thing happening, and that magazine appearing with the ancient different deities on it, and then about separation and divide, and about there will always be a crisis, and then the illness, and then this. And in that magazine, you had the things about whites and blacks and all living amongst each other, mixed, everyone living peaceful instead of hateful. Now, obviously, there are people, we're different. We're definitely different in the body. We're different. And we can't all just be exactly alike, and you can't force your views on someone else. One type of person can't force themselves on another, and another person can't force themselves on another type of person. You can't do that. But you can be nice, be kind, spread love, and get along, and put out love, and try to live in unity without hate. And that creates more division when you don't do that, when you create hate. Anyway, hate is a thought. Love is a thought. Let's put out the love as a thought form. Peace. Signing out. I feel like that magazine appeared for me so that I could awaken to what's happening. It's telling me what's coming up on June 21st, 2020, which will actually be the beginning of December 21st, 2012, or the end of a lot of the original Gregorian calendars and the original Mayan calendars and all that. All those old calendars and everything lining up to this weekend and the eclipse. Pretty amazing. Peace. Signing out. Decided to give this insight. Thank you to these two individuals for sharing with me. Signing out.